Hello and welcome to the second session of Swords of the Serpentine, which is a big volume gumshoe fantasy RPG from Pelgrane. The physical copy came out just a couple of months ago, and I have it. And there are times when I'm able to actually run games that I bought, which is a striking change in many ways. This is a very interesting take on the gumshoe system. I run quite a bit of gumshoe. I have a love-hate with it, but I really like what they've done in this. This is a fantasy game. We set things up last time. We got the initial mystery in there, which I'll talk about in a minute, and we kind of got a sense of who our characters are. This session and all sessions that we run in the community use a layered set of safety tools. So I just want to briefly go over those safety and resources. We are, of course, using the X card, and we are using the open door policy. So remember that those two things are in play. And then we have our lines and veils tab. Again, this is a living document, so it can be added to if we hit something that needs to be added. Right now, we have hard lines on four things, and that is sexual assault, torture by the PCs, peril to pregnant women and infants, and animal abuse. And then we have a veil on sex, essentially fade to black on anything that would imply that. We also have a romance matrix. I'm not sure how much that will come into play, but we do have that in there for people to gauge their relative comfort levels. Also, a reminder that on the safety and resources tab, there is a link to the 2-page cheat sheet, which I put up, as well as a link to the roller that we're using. Hey, so we had an interesting conversation about this at GCOG about the roller, because there was some perception by some people that maybe the roller was in there to prevent cheating. It is not. It is purely convenience. So if you want to roll at home, you are more than welcome to. The roller is potentially a shared experience, like we're sitting around the same table, but you don't have to use it. You can do whatever you want. Isn't that wondrous? I love this world. So we're going to go ahead and, without too much further ado, we're going to have our characters introduce themselves. Just briefly on the elevator pitch of that, we're going to go around. And then we're going to bring in Alexi's character, who's going to join up with one of the scenes that we have in progress from last time. So we're going to start sort of what would be the second seat, which is now the third seat because the way the character sheet works. So Brandon, give us the elevator pitch on who your character is.
Happy to do so. My character is Bronwyn. She read often to her friends and drinking companions. She is clearly not from Eversink. She has an accent. She's a little too big. She has a kind of red hair that's not really found in the islands very much. She is a warrior with a very well-worn sword that is very out of fashion. People describe it to her to being a northerner, and she fights with that in one hand and with a knife in the other. She has evidently been around for quite a while, maybe for a lot longer than her apparent age would seem to be. She appears in her early 30s, and yet she occasionally talks about things that happened generations ago as if she was a first-hand witness. Most people figure that she's just good at remembering other people's stories. But there is a rumor going on that Orsino heard that Bronwyn was actually the avatar of a minor deity, sort of a hero. She doesn't seem to act like one very much, but she is deadlier. She looks like a good fighter, and she's deadlier even than she looks.
Excellent. So let me move on, just so we get the brief. Next up on our character keeper is Ogstreth.
Ogstreth the Perspicacious, I believe you mean to say.
Yeah,
very elderly, recently former of the Church of Denari. He did his best when he was there. His enthusiasm outstripped his capabilities, I would say, would be a fair description. And now he's trying to make up for lost time. He'd been cloistered up for so long that he wants to see what's out there and just kind of push buttons and yank on levers and turn knobs and see what happens out there in Eversink, and is very excited to be a moral compass for these youthful ne'er-do-wells that he has found himself partnered up with.
Excellent. And then we come to Orsino.
I'm playing Orsino Garibaldi. He's a large barrel-chested man. He's of the famed Garibaldi family. It's an old noble line that has seen better days. They have a deal with the church that he's the third son. So when he hits the age of 40, he has to go and work full-time as an inquisitor for the church. And he's 39 and a half. So he's loud, a little bit, pessimistic, but also cheerful in his pessimism. So it's an interesting dichotomy. And he has, I guess, the knack of running into and hunting vampires, and they just seem to be around in his life.
Excellent. I think that gives us a good sense. And that brings us back over to Folk.
Okay. I'm Robbie. Use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Folk Payne, uses he, him pronouns, who is from the Sentinel class. He is pretty young and intent on trying to get a position either possibly in the Church of Denari or with the Triskadane, but he's not really good on his social skills. And so I think both of those groups have recognized his possible helpfulness, but in terms of like being an actual member, not necessarily keen on having him that close. He carries some guilt with him, and he feels like he let his father down by not noticing that his father had fallen under some corruption, and he's trying to maybe make some amends for that and for not kind of noticing his father's troubles. And I guess as a constant reminder of that, he carries with him the dried hand of his father, that is kind of a memento reminder of his past failings.
Excellent. And before we get too much further, hey, I didn't say my name. My name's Lowell. Pronouns he, him. So if you're listening to this on some sort of podcast or even watching it at home, that's who I am. So there we go. So we are bringing in Lexi, noted designer, Cloven Pine Games. So just mention that there. So Alexi, tell us about who you've chosen to play and what you've done to kind of tweak this character and figure out their personality.
Absolutely. Thank you, Noel. So I picked the thief pre-generated character who is likable, funny, bold, lucky, and rude. And that all sounded pretty good to me. So I think the key choice I made is that he is a young teenager. Exactly how young is unclear. He definitely lies about his age every time he's asked, and the answer is always slightly different. But he has big dreams. He has grand aspirations. He wants to become the king of thieves in Eversink, and he's going to get there by allying with the common folk and making an enemy of the ancient nobility, and generally developing a name for himself. His name is Caden Coyle, or at least that's the name he gives. He doesn't seem to have anyone he belongs to. He's struck out on his own on the mean streets of the city, and presumably, sometimes done a good turn for some of our fellow PCs, since I want to be incorporated into this relationship matrix. But definitely definitely a rogue, definitely a ne'er-do-well, definitely the sort of youthful person that Ogstreth the Perspicacious might want to guide onto a more upright path.
Upright is also the variable about exactly how that is defined. Now, Alexei, have you played GUMSHOE before?
Nope. This is going to be my first time with the system.
So just to give you a quick sense and to remind everybody, we have investigative points. They represent your ability to know particular things. When you go into an investigative scene, they can be used passively to kind of get information, but you can also make spends from those to get deeper information or ask further questions. On our particular character sheet, we've got a number of pop-ups that kind of describe what those are. You have, for example, ridiculous luck, which is the gee, I happen to stumble onto this ability from the thief thing there.
Very nice.
Investigative abilities are even if you run out of points, you still have them. They refresh at the end of a particular case. The other thing you have with that is you have those allegiances. Allegiances function like investigative abilities, but they can also be used to call in favors or to find out particular specific things about people, that kind of thing. For all of those investigative abilities, on the rules notes tab, down towards the bottom, I have all of those abilities, and then kind of like, what are the other things you can do with those points? Like, if we're not investigating, what else can we do with them? Like, for example, if you have charm, you can use that investigative ability to make a supporting character trust you, like make a friend kind of thing for the future. There's a lot of those things that are available, just pointing you there. The other side of the coin are the general abilities. And general abilities are the ones where we're going to roll a d6. Typically, difficulty is 4. You want a 4 or better. If it's opposed, there'll be an opposed roll. And you can spend points before you roll from your general ability pool. You can always roll, even if your general ability pool is a Zippo. That's the basic thing. If you have 8 ranks or more in a general ability, and for you that's your stealth and your sway, you get a little bit special ability that you'll see is in black text next to that. Nice. So that's what that is. There are way fewer investigative and general abilities than there are in other GUMSHOE games. If you're looking at these and going, that's a lot of things, this is a lot less than in other games.
So Lowell, just one question about the general abilities.
Yes.
You said spend before the roll, and there's no chance to spend after, I take it.
That is correct.
Pre-commitment.
Yes. There are no hero points in this as such. However, if you think that an investigative ability can assist you with a general ability, the ratio is usually 1 spend of a point from an investigative ability is usually a +3 to your general ability. So it's a 1-to-3 ratio if you're kind of trying to picture how the number values work. General abilities also do not refresh normally until the end of the case. However, at the end of particular scenes and after defeating foes, you will get for the group a pool of refresh tokens. And these can be spent 1-to-1 to refresh general abilities. So
cool.
Let me ask you this, Caden, of these other 4 people in this sort of loose-knit group, who is it, do you think, that you are most wary of?
I'm gonna go with Folk Pain. Inquisitive, suspicious, intimidating, detail-oriented, insecure.
And what has occurred with you? Like, what was it? Is there a particular incident, or is it just a general thing? What is the relationship as you see it?
He took it really personal when I tried to steal the dried hand of his father. I apologized, but I get a vibe that he hasn't entirely forgiven me.
Okay. And Folk, what is, you've been, Caden has interacted with the group, has been part of it for a while. What is your take on Caden?
I think I've watched Caden carefully, and I know that he has some useful skills. I think he's something of a lost soul, though, who needs he needs to find an anchor, and he hasn't. He's too he's happy-go-lucky, having a good time. If he continues that, though, he will. He's going to get his due, and I'm hoping that he finds his anchor before something really untoward happens.
And Caden, amongst the group here, like, if you were facing a foe and one person fell, that would make you go, okay, we need to get out of here. We need to run now. We need to flee. Who would that be? Who would you do you think is the anchor for the group?
Red. Yeah,
okay.
100%.
All right. And why is it? Is it? Have you been around warriors much? Is it a fascinating thing, an unusual thing? What is your perspective there?
Yeah, I mean, so in my gear is a stolen sword you haven't used in months. So I think Caden avoids violence, in favor of trickery and swaying people, for the most part. But he does acknowledge Bronwyn's way of doing things sometimes is extremely necessary. And so absolutely, and I think he respects her as the pillar of this group, just for her formidable prowess.
Bronwyn, what's your perspective on Caden?
Caden's me at his age. That's easy. I mean, it's like I remember stealing, anything that wasn't nailing it down and getting my ass whooped for it hard. So he might grow up if he's lucky.
Excellent. So here is what happened last time, and kind of the facts that we have established. Last time, you were approached by a watch captain by the name of Teldy, and Teldy said that he had something that he was worried about, that he had a couple of killings that had occurred that seemed to have a monstrous taint to them, or that the scent that a monster of some kind was involved with them. On the one hand, a woman who had been stabbed with her own blades, and the other hand, a poor man working in a grain warehouse who had been killed. And as he's put it, he doesn't want to start panic in his particular area of the watch. So he thought it was best to hire outsiders rather than trying to bring his watch people in hunting down monsters, when that's not really their thing. They are patrol people. They are checking manifests. They are essentially port cops. And he offered money if the group would be willing to investigate the situation and look into it. And they agreed. Teldy asked for them to find out if there was a monster and to deal with that monster, were the terms of this. So the group split up, with Orsino and Bronwyn heading to the victim who had been stabbed, name of Zara, and They went in there. They were able to determine that she had been stabbed with the various weapons that she had, that she had also been strangled. They also detected the weird odor of vinegar there, a unique smell. And they found a book which had some coded notes. And generally, they got the picture that this Zara was a person who went around and collected protection money. Now, on the other hand, the other group went and investigated this person who had been killed on the second floor of a grain warehouse. They went there, and it was a somewhat unusual setup in that the person was not affiliated with the grain warehouse, but in fact was renting an office there. And they found that he had apparently been engaged in repackaging poisons into new bottles. Apparently, poisons were being supplied to him, which he was repackaging, handling those, apparently some sort of alchemical knowledge for sale. These are things that are kind of illegal in the city. They were able to speak with the dead man who had been killed by someone first sort of strangle knocking them down, and second pouring a whole bunch of poisons and potions down their throat until it kind of caught them on fire. Potion miscibility, I believe is it. They were, from this, able to determine that this Belto, the second victim, had an employer, that someone was kind of bankrolling him and had set him up here. They were able to also pick up this scent of an unusual vinegar. And from talking with the dead man's spirit, they were able to determine that the attacker was, in fact, a Pengallan, which is, of course, a monstrous creature. This particular one being red-haired, not unlike Bronwyn, but we're not making a connection there. But that these are creatures that can fly around, dangling their internal organs, and then they use those organs to strangle people. They use vinegar to shrink their organs to slide back into their bodies, is why you might smell that vinegar. And also know that these Pengallans do seek out sin and feed on it. So those were some details. I may have missed some things, but I think I got the gist of it. But where we left off last time, Fulk and Oxtreth were kind of finishing up their investigation, having calmed down this spirit who was still quite upset, when a set of people came barging up the stairs. Were surprised to see Oxtreth and Fulk. These figures had weapons out. They clearly were here for a particular purpose, and the sense that Fulk and Oxtreth got was that they were not happy to see people there, and that violence was soon to ensue. On the other hand, Orsino and Bronwyn, having kind of gone through the room and looking at the stuff, the door was kicked open, and there were some figures in the hall with very basic masks over their faces, also weapons drawn, who were clearly barging into the room with the sense that perhaps they did not mean well. Exactly their purpose, uncertain at this moment. So we are going to start with Orsino and Bronwyn. Caden, we are going to fold you into Fulk and Oxtreth's scene, but I want to start with Orsino and Bronwyn. 4 guys. Bronwyn, you have tactics, quick look. You would say folks who know their way around a weapon, maybe not soldiers, but there's definitely a leader and 3 others, and the lead guy kind of looks around and he says, "Drop everything."
So I'll pick up a bottle of wine from the table, and I say, surely this gentleman, that there's some misunderstanding here, and this encounter need not become unpleasant. Won't you share a drink with us and let's talk it out?
So, sounds to me like you're trying to sway here.
Sure, always
Okay.
try.
Okay. Then what is how much do you want to spend on sway?
I'll spend 2 on sway.
Okay. Let us have you roll.
Five.
So I think they pause for a moment, like they don't immediately go to blades. You can tell they're still positioned at violence, but the needle hasn't ticked that far, and they say, "Whatever you found here, drop it and leave it." Orsino, what do you do?
He takes a large intake of breath, stretches his arms out. Come, Claw. He draws his freaking, what you call it, Kriegsmesser, pops out his freaking buckler and says, "Red, you know that people who live badly die badly.
Well,
Might as
yes,
well at
but
least get them to their end quickly."
you always give them a chance, my dear Orsino.
And I think
even the worst people can reconsider upon evaluation of the circumstances. Isn't that true, gentlemen?
I count 4 of us to 2 of you.
Simple mathematics has been the undoing of so many people. And I'll pitch the bottle at his head.
Okay. Absolutely. So let's do it like an attack roll. We'll do that. Let's start with you, Bronwyn. What do you want to roll for your warfare? How much do you want to spend?
I would like to do a spend of my remaining point of tactics of death to up our chances in this fight. I think that's a thing you can do.
So let's look at the benefits for tactics of death. You can use that to add to warfare. Let's take a look at that. We'll kind of roll down to this. Let me find that tactics of death. So you can spend a point to gain 2 actions in the same round.
Okay.
You can skill influencing battles odds. You can pick a general ability such as warfare and athletics. For every point you spend for the length of the scene, all enemies suffer a 1-point penalty to their tests. Okay,
that's it. And so what it represents is I'm going to do a spend to boot one of the tables over into their midst and hem them in so that their numbers don't count for as much.
And how much do you want to spend on warfare for this bottle throwing?
So I'll spend 3.
Okay. So you think you are throwing at this kind of like leader, like lieutenant guy, or one of the associates? One might even call them goons that he has with them.
I think it is.
Okay.
The gentleman in charge.
Sure. Roll. You need to hit a 4.
Okay. A 9.
That is a 9.
Is that high enough to trigger cleave?
So let's take a look at that. So PCs, warfare cleave. You may injure more than one opponent with a high warfare roll. And I think I'm going to look at this. So it's the first time we've done this. So you can either do cleave and hit a second target, or you can choose to take that by 5 roll and do an extra die of damage to this guy.
Yeah, I'll go with the first. I'll go with the extra die of damage.
Okay. So right now you're going to roll 2d6 and add 1 for using a weapon. So that is 7 points of damage. So that hits him in the face, in the mask, and like he's not out, but he falls backwards to the ground, just absolutely knocked flat by that strike there. And mechanically, to tell you, however many points you spend on your attack roll, that's the minimum damage that you will do. So there is a benefit to spending high. So Bronwyn, you see this bottle go flying. You see the leader of this pack get absolutely face bottled by Bronwyn, goes down. What do you do?
He immediately charges into the others and what you call it, no, I think he gets quiet when he fights. So,
okay.
I'm just going to go warfare.
All right.
And I'm going to spend 4.
Okay. Need to hit against them. You need to hit a... These guys are that, the mooks. Need to hit a 3.
Okay. 6 plus 4. Okay. A 6.
So that will hit. So go ahead and roll a d6 plus 1.
And since the target was 3, that's 3 points over. I do cleave, so I'll hit like 1 more.
Let's see. Yeah, that's right, because it's for everyone is that. So go ahead and roll that damage.
Okay, and it's 4 points of damage, which was
4
my
points of
minimum
damage
per spin.
Yeah, so that will, you will swing that out and catch 2 of them. They're still up and bloodied, but you 2 have kind of changed the momentum in there. We'll come back and do their actions in a moment, but I want to cut back to Fulk and Ogstreth and Caden. Caden. How do you think that you picked up the word that your associates had gotten a job?
I know the back streets and hidden truths of the city. I think there's just a whisper network of urchins and beggars and the down and out that keep me fully informed of the goings on of all persons of interest.
That old guy with the weird hat that like he and his buddies got hired.
Mr. the Perspicacious.
Yeah.
That seems worth checking out.
And
I hand a loaf of bread over to my informant.
Yoink. Crunches down, super stale. So we'll see. Then we kind of cut forward. You've kind of been watching. You've seen them gone into this grain warehouse. You're like wondering what's going on. They've gone upstairs and they're up there for a bit. And then you see these 5 guys come up and they walk with a purpose that and when they walk into the grain warehouse, nobody stops them. Like the foreman kind of looks the other way. Everybody backs away and they go walking up these wooden steps to the 2nd floor, and you'll hear that door go open and they've moved up there. What do you do, Caden?
Well, I can tell bad news when I see it marching in lockstep. So I think this calls for. This is you said this is on the second floor of the warehouse.
Yeah.
This calls for scaling the outside of this building to gain a good vantage point in case they need to leap suddenly from concealment.
This feels like this could be athletics or burglary for this, a general role. I think this is still a difficulty 4, just because the windows are a little sealed up.
Yes. Let's do athletics. I want to save burglary for just other purposes. Yeah,
burgling.
Yeah. So I choose to spend points ahead of time.
Yep.
And then roll. What am I rolling? Just a single d6?
Just a single d6.
Okay. Trying to beat a 4.
Trying to beat a 4. Trying to make or beat a 4.
Make or beat a 4. Okay. I'll spend 2 points on it.
Okay.
And give that a go. Sorry, is there a die roller we're already using?
Let me grab it. Copy.
I found it. I just needed to know to look for it. All right. Okay, well, that's a 4 on the dice, plus what I spent, makes it a 6.
So you will pop, climb up, scurry up, and you can pop one of these windows, and you can look in or get in. I think with that kind of margin of success, it will be unseen until you wish to be.
Always like to be unseen.
Yeah. Let's cut to Ogstreth and Folk as you see these 5 gentlemen come up the stairs, looking at you and making demands like, who are you guys?
Specifically that demand, not just demands like that.
Yeah. That's that specific demand. I've got other demands, but let's start with that.
Okay. I've got some sway, Falk. I don't know if you would be the one to address these demands or if I should start talking.
I think Folk's reply would just be, well, there's illegal business going on in this room, and if you're here checking up on it, then I would take it that you're tied up in some of this nefarious business.
And that probably is not what they expected to hear. And their eyes go wide and they say, oh, well, that makes this much easier. And they all draw their weapons.
Make it easier for them.
And they start to move, and they go, we pay good money for other people to take care of this, but guess we got to clean up this mess.
Interesting.
Ogstreth, what do you do?
I think I'm going to transform myself to a 12-foot high wolf beast and scare them off.
Okay. So that feels like you are doing sway as an attack and using your sorcery to define it.
Sounds good.
Okay. So let's see. You can, much like the cleave thing, you have play to the crowd, I believe. What's your sway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Play to the crowd.
Yeah. So how much do you want to spend on this illusion to cause terror in them?
Am I against 3 or is it higher?
So right now, the goons have a morale rating, test rating of 3.
Okay. I'm going to spend 4.
Okay. So you'll definitely get one of them, and you may get another one.
So wait, let me do this. So if I spent 6, I would definitely get 2 of them.
At least.
Maybe...
At least. And then you would have spent all those points.
I'm going to spend 6 then.
What?
Why not?
Okay.
I do have the tendency in GUMSHOE-like games to be like, I'm going to hold on to them for when it's important. And then you get to the end of the adventure and be like, at least I have all my
Aw.
points. Yeah.
I've got 99 potions and all these Phoenix Downs. I understand. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to roll my d6 and then add 6. Let me type that out. Nope. I'll just roll d6. Roll it.
You have to put a die in the roller and then you have to hit
Yeah,
roll at the
I don't know
bottom.
what I did wrong. There we go. Wow, that was terrible. It's a 1. So I got a 7.
So 7. So that still succeeds because you spent 6 points.
Yeah, good thing.
Okay. Let me have you roll a d6 +1 for your sway effect here. So like they're like, okay, we're going to take care. And then suddenly, like, what does this wolf look like? Like, what do they see happen?
I mean, it is like the classic monster movie transformation of, the clothes are ripping off and the bones are cracking horribly and the patches of fur are sprouting out and blood and guts and like, looming over them.
And the two that are at the back, like, they go tumbling down the stairs. That they kind of like immediately panic. The others kind of like move away from you. Blades out like, oh my God, we got to deal with this monster. But the back two, you just hear and maybe a crunching sound that sounded like a bone. Folk, there's still a lieutenant and 2 goons left. Have you ever seen Ogstreth do this before?
I was wondering.
I don't think I've seen this particular transformation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw something more gentle. Not like a kind of real extreme combat situation like this. But I think he knows that there's like some of this kind of transforming power that he has.
Okay. So what do you do now?
So I've got, you said it's the lieutenant who's
You
still
got a
there?
lieutenant and 2 goons still left.
Well, I think since they were not swayed at all by my warning that they were tied up with illegal nefarious business. I think Folk is going to pull out his sword and take care of the lieutenant.
Okay. So move up on lieutenant. Lieutenant has a short blade out. Move up. Spend warfare. How much do you want to spend? Target number for him is a 4.
Yeah, I think I'll spend 3.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll a d6. And I'm adding 3.
So that's a 6. You will hit. So you're going to roll a d6 +1 damage.
How's the enemy crew looking?
We'll see here in a moment. So that's 7 points of damage. That is a hefty amount of damage. Like that cuts across the lieutenant, and he looks pissed. The other 2 are a little hesitant, but they are moving in to try and stab the wolf, Caden. Actually, it's not stab. They probably have cudgels, so probably beat the wolf with heavy sticks.
Okay, yeah. I think the play here is I'm going to announce my presence, sort of, by starting to like throw loose shingles and bits of debris down at the 2 goons closing in on what I know has to actually be Ogstreth the Perspicacious.
Right.
And as I'm doing this, I'm calling out in a taunting voice, "Give up, idiots! We've got you surrounded!" And then I say in a different voice, yeah, there are 6 more of us here.
I like it. So that's a sway attack
Yes, it is.
here. Yeah.
I'll spend what I'm still trying to beat a 4. That's
these guys are 3s for morale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll spend.
You were 3 once.
I'll hit him hard. I'll spend 3 on sway and see how this goes for me. And I've got play the crowd, which lets me affect more than one target on a high sway attack roll. And it is a high sway attack roll.
That is a high sway attack roll.
9 total.
What did you spend?
I spent 3, rolled a 6.
So you got a
So
9.
9. So now let's have you roll a d6 for your effect on them.
Okay, so it's I roll like a
just a straight d6. We're going to add some points. I kind of want to know what level they're at. Oh yeah,
it's a 5.
So like they start falling back right away to the top of the stairs. Like, we got to cheese it, boss. We got to cheese it. We'll come back to them in a second. We're going to cut back to the other room. Lieutenant is getting himself up off the floor. Spend some athletics to that. We've got 2 wounded guys. They're going to take a swing at you, Orsino. So I've got 2 guys. We will do these attacks. They roll this. What is my target number for you? Is it a 4?
Yeah, it's a 4.
Okay.
What is it? If it's a 4 base, it's 5 right now.
That's right.
Because they're tangling with a table underfoot.
Absolutely. So these guys are rolling 2d6. I'm adding 1 to each of these dice. So they will hit. So do you have armor on, Orsino?
Yeah. What was the 2 rolls? The 6 and a 4?
6 and a 4, so a 7 and a 5.
So 7 and a 5. I'll take the hit from the 5, but I'm gonna try and parry the 7 with my athletics dodge.
Okay.
Let's see here, and I'll spend let's see here, 5 points. No, I'll spend 6, because if I don't spend 6, I'll roll a 1. Let's see here.
You want to spend those points? I'm always glad to have those points.
Let's see here. So it takes me down to 2.
So what you need, so let's look at we have a 5 to dodge that. So all you need to spend is 4.
Well, no, for the 5, I'm going to take that hit.
Okay.
For the roll of a 7, I'm going to parry that.
Okay.
And I roll.
They're both doing the same amount of damage. They're both going to do this regardless. So.
Yeah, it's here. D6 plus 6, and I just need to hit a 7 because I have a buckler.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. So what does that look like? Like, how do you deflect that blow? Is it blade? Is it shield?
I'm going to say it's most likely what he just barrels into the first one who gets the stab it on him, and then he swipes back with his buckler, catching the other's blade when he thought he was going to come in and stab him in the back.
Perfect. You are going to take 4 points of damage.
Okay, and I've got the equivalent of chainmail, so that's 2 points.
Absolutely. Kind of it's a hard blow to your ribs, but nothing permanent. Bronwyn, I've got 1 goon who will take a swing at you. Needs a 5 to hit you, I believe.
Yep.
This +1, and will swing and will miss. And our lieutenant will also gets up, tries to wipe the blood off from his face. He looks pissed, and he will also take a swing. So +1 of 5, he will hit.
Okay. I'll try to dodge it.
Okay. So you go ahead and spend athletics.
And what's my target?
So right now, your target is the 5 total that he rolled.
Okay. So I'll spend 3.
Okay.
always leave some room for Fortuna.
Oh yeah, you will turn that aside. Just
actually, what I do is
way.
I step back 2 inches,
Okay.
and his blade flicks by, within a centimeter of my chest, and I say, no, you have to step first before you do that. Before you do that maneuver.
And then, how do you follow up?
Then I follow up by bringing my sword down across his sword arm.
Okay. Let's go ahead and have you. How much do you want to spend on that attack?
I will spend 3.
So that just hits with that riposte. So you roll me a d6 damage.
3 points of damage altogether.
3 points of damage. And where do you hit him that like drops him?
I think I clash blades with him and kick him in the knee.
Okay.
And he goes down.
Crunch, kind of falls to the ground. Orsino, these 2 guys are wounded. It's your action. You've gotten hit. You're kind of tight in with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try and stab them while they're down.
Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna spend 2.
Okay.
1d6 plus 2. And 6 total. So
So
and I
that
need
will
3 to
hit.
hit him. So
Yeah.
that activates cleave. So I do.
It does. Roll your
1d6
damage.
plus 1. So I do 3 points of damage to each one.
And with the damage that they took last time, the slash across them, they will crumple back. They are just barely holding themselves conscious. We'll come back to that scene in a moment. Folk, looks like you're the only one who's getting slashed at right now, because the goons are in panic mode. 2 of them down at the bottom of the stairs, and the other 2 falling back, like yelling to their boss to run. And this guy is going to take a swing at you. Do I need a 4 to hit you? Let's see. Yes, your threshold for is a 3 on that. So yeah, okay. Let me roll. That 3 will plus 1 is a 4. He will hit you. And he is going to do this plus 1. He's actually going to do 7 points of damage. Do you have any armor? You're muted. You are muted, Folk.
I do have armor. I have chainmail.
Okay. So I believe that reduces that damage by 2, right?
Right.
So you are going to take 5 points of health damage there.
That's painful.
It is painful. So health in this game kind of does the thing where when you go to 0, until you go to 0, it's like not really serious damage. It's just bruises and things like that. Once you go to 0 and below, that's when blood is pouring, bad things are happening. So Folk, let's start with you on this round, since you're locked up with this person, and you've heard that you have some sort of support guards that are flinging tiles down, and you've got a sorcerer or werewolf.
I think that what and the others have fled, right? And
there are 2 at the top of the stairs who are probably going to flee for their action.
Yes.
And 2 at the bottom.
I think what Folk is going to say to this guy is, I mean, instead of attacking, he's going to say, you have a choice. You either surrender now, or my wolf friend will pin you down and I'll pour some of that poison down your throat.
That feels like sway.
Yeah, and I will spend my, I think I have 2 points left. I will spend my remaining 2 points
Okay.
on this sway. So
that is a 6. Tell me, Caden Ogstreth, what are you doing? Let me kind of want to read his reaction, kind of based on what the two of you are doing.
I've been I've probably been just continuing to try and drive off the the goons, right?
Okay.
Just make them think they're surrounded and need to beat a hasty retreat.
Okay. Ogstreth, you will see that the two guys at the top of the stairs are going to cheese it. It looks like this guy, given the option from Folk, is going to try and run.
Oh, but do we want to interrogate them or something like that? My goodness.
That's my question,
Maybe
Ogstreth. Are you
give
going
them
to try and
option.
step in the way?
Oh, this guy might be about to run.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, let me get Ogstreth's action, and I'll come back to you, Alexi.
All right.
Folk had a very good threat.
Got a thought now.
Yeah, I mean, this is an investigative game, so I'm not just trying to save my skin here. So I guess, what did you say, Robbie, that he can either do something?
He could either surrender,
okay.
or and drop his weapon, or you would hold him down while I poured some interesting poisons down his throat.
So I think I moved towards him, but also like looking to cut him off from running away. So It's like, I'm about to grab you, so you get your poison breakfast, but also you can't run away because I'm in front of the exit.
And Caden, how are you helping with this, selling this?
I mean, I might just use the opportunity to attempt to pickpocket this guy, right? So that anything he's got on him that will be a helpful lead for us will now be in my possession.
So yeah, you can drop down, and do you want to use your burglary?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let's give it a go. So that's
difficulty 4. I think he's distracted right now by the werewolf out of the corner of his eye and Folk.
I'll spend 2 on that and roll. That's a 4.
That is a 4. So I think you will grab out of his pocket a little vial and packet that he's got there, that is wrapped in waxed paper kind of thing.
Nice.
Ogstreth, what do you think is appropriate? Do you think this is a roll? Do you think this is a spend to sell this?
What do you think we would be spending?
I'm wondering, you're trying to make an impression on this guy that your threat is serious.
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel like a sway to he's gonna run, and you want to stop him, and kind of double down and force him to surrender rather than run, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering, it's to get at the investigative stuff. So I don't know if we want to cut to that, or if it's step by step. First he has to not run, and then we'll do that. Or
actually, let me roll back here. Folk, do you want to spend a point of intimidation?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, okay. Yeah.
Then I think that there's no other role. I think Caden's got a hold of some materials.
Mm-hmm.
Akshat, you kind of step over there, and Falk, you've made your statement, and he stops. It's maybe at this moment that he looks down and he sees the burnt out body on the ground as well, and he's gonna drop his blade and put his hands up. We're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we're going to deal with sort of the bloodied aftermath in both scenes. We'll take 10 for this first break, and then we'll come back, okay? So you don't want to drag this guy through the streets, Bronwyn?
No. I'll pick him. I'm going to pick him up by his front.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, hey, friend, you can tell us something interesting that we want to know about this whole business. Or probably my buddy here is just going to kill you like you did with your men.
So are we using command? Is that the investigative skill I think you're using here? Does that feel right?
If I can. Well, I think it seems reasonable.
Okay.
I have him at such advantage that it's just like, yeah, tell us what we want to know. And I think, with that knee that you will at some point walk again, provided that you tell us what we want to know.
Okay, make that spend from command. Like, we were getting back what was ours. This woman is a strong armor, extortionist. She's works for somebody, and she's been pulling this on a lot of people all around here for months, maybe years. And
well, she's, yeah.
But these last, like, she's spread out. She's hit new places in the last month and a half. People I know, people I like, gotten places smashed up, threats. And when I heard she was dead, I thought we'd come here and see if we could find her stash, see if we could find her things. Maybe find, some answers.
Well, she's past caring.
She's past caring, yeah.
Yeah. So you have no idea what killed her, huh?
I just heard she was dead. Wasn't me. Don't look at me. I couldn't even take you guys out.
No, clearly you didn't kill her. Arsino, what am I missing here? Oh, I pick a chunk of glass out of his cheek.
Ow.
It's gonna, sorry, a little scar if you let that stay in there.
I'm not quite sure. I think if we find out who Zara works for, we'd get more answers, but they don't even seem to know who she works for. So,
do you?
What? No, that's.
She did all this stuff, and you never even got a sniff as to who she might be working for.
Look, she wasn't even. The only reason I'm here is because I have friends. A buddy who ran a bar. She came in and smashed things up. He wouldn't tell me what. I mean, she just like, she's a bad person.
Yeah, she was.
Who the F are you guys?
Oh, we're here trying to find out what the hell killed her. Because it's still out there, dumbass.
It's what we do.
Wasn't she stabbed?
Stabbed, strangled, pretty much half hanged by something. What?
You think it was a wizard?
Unless that wizard is a lot stronger than any wizard I've ever seen.
I don't know. I've never seen a wizard.
I have. They're mostly kind of short, dumpy guys.
Somewhere Ogstreth's ears are burning.
But no, whatever killed her was strong as hell. Well,
Make better decisions in life.
yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay.
Look, I don't really care what about her stuff here. It's you might get a couple dinars for it. Do we anything else we want from this guy, Arcio? I don't think he knows much.
I think they were just in the middle, in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll change his life going forward.
Next time, try explaining yourself.
And you guys can depart, leave these guys like nursing their wounds. Speaking of wounds, so Garibaldi, bind wounds. If you have it, you can spend it 1 for 1 to heal health. Somebody else can spend the points. 1 point will heal 2 on you. Otherwise, with a fine day of rest and not doing much exertion, you will heal 2 points.
No, sounds like an average day for Garibaldi.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm just a little bruising.
Okay.
I didn't say anything.
Let's cut back then to this guy who is at this point probably seated in a chair so that Ogstreth, Folk, and Caden can have a conversation with him. And he's kind of looking around at the three of you. What is it you're asking him? What is it you want to know?
So we intimidated him into spilling.
Yeah, he's going to give you some information. I may have additional spends required to get further stuff, but he's going to give you some basics. But I kind of want to know, what's your tactic? What is it you want to get from him?
Because it's intimidation, do I need to continue to be intimidating?
No, we've already got that established. He already knows you can turn into a werewolf. I'm going to do air quotes here. Sorry, wizard quotes.
As far as he's aware.
Well, I guess the obvious is, who are you, and what exactly was your business here?
Yeah, mister, tell us your business.
Looks up at the teen. He says, look, I work for people that you do not want to mess with.
Untrue.
And he looks at you and he goes, I work for the Thieves Guild.
Oh, that's awesome.
He says, I am Leardo. I was sent here to clean this place up.
And I look over at Caden, kind of like, is that a name that I should know? Is that one of the hot now happening thieves?
I don't know. Is it, Mr. GM?
Let's see. I think you have enough ally commoners to know that this guy is he is a dog's body within the Thieves Guild. He's a commoner who's gotten a kind of a lieutenant's position, and this is the kind of job he would be sent on to go to a place that had been compromised and probably burn it to the ground.
He's a cleaner. kind that usually leaves ashes.
So dull. So our friend Balto here, was he also in the guild then?
He was put here by the guild. You know, we like that's what we do. That's our, you know.
You relabel poisons? It doesn't seem very thiefy.
It's a job. We carry it out. We turn a profit. You know, we pay good money for protection here.
You're going to need it. You should have seen the thing that killed him.
Wait, what?
I kind of look around, realizing maybe I shouldn't tell this guy what we know already, and see what Falk and Caden think of that.
Look. We're just here to clean up. Belto did the work. He was a good guy, and we were paying money to Teldy to keep things on the down low, but he must have spilled or he wasn't doing his job.
What? Watch Captain Teldy.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Know him. Heard of him.
Well, I didn't carry through.
What is he supposed to do for his cut of the dirty, filthy take?
Well, let's not be all judgy about it, but
yeah. Why do we have to be all judgy about it?
It just
Caden, I better not catch you relabeling poison bottles.
Puts up his hands. Serrific, innocent smile.
It's just like he's like he keeps people off our back.
Are we on your back now?
We're a little on his back.
I guess he did fail then. Well, no matter. It will be the least of your problems.
What? Wait, what? What do you mean?
You can, kind of looking at Falk to see if he agrees with, you can scurry off anytime you want. It'll catch you soon enough.
I can go. Okay, then. Well, I'm going to stand up. And does that thing where he stands up and he doesn't present his back to any of you. And he's kind of walking away. Well, I'll just be going then.
Oh, one last thing.
Yeah.
Columbo him.
You tell the higher ups in the Thieves Guild that you've met their future king.
Oh, this again.
And Caden does like a little like elaborate bow.
What's your name?
Caden Coyle.
I'll remember that.
See that you do.
And he'll back away.
So do you want to fill me in about what's going on here? You were lying about that monster thing, right? That was just to intimidate this one, right?
I don't want to be responsible for giving you nightmares. Falk, you tell him.
Well, I do trust that Ogstreth's revelation would be intimidating to him, but Ogstreth is not. It's not telling an untruth. There was a supernatural being that floated in here and set to work on this poor soul that you see burned up on the floor.
Nasty. And you were hired to check in on this?
I
Well,
watch Captain Teldy.
yes. Yeah, Captain Teldy was wanting us to look into it, and surprisingly, he was also being paid off by the Thieves Guild.
Curiouser and curiouser. Well, I will help you sort it out for a mere third of each of your cuts of the payment.
Look at Falk like, I don't actually know how much that is. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Standard rate. All normal considerations apply.
Well, I think Caden, we could definitely use some of your connections. I think if the Thieves Guild is involved in this business, my sense is that you have some acquaintances in that august field that you might be able to call on.
I know a guy.
Literally just one guy, though. At this point, Caden's working his way up.
Let's I want to maybe a little hard frame here and bring everybody together. If I can, we people have been cut loose, places have been looked at. So let's ask this. Orsino, what place is sort of the meeting place that the two halves of your group would meet up at?
I'll say the Black Rose Inn. It's a medium-sized tavern, not too rich, not too poor.
And though it's called the Black Rose, what is the actual motif here, Bronwyn?
The actual motif is it's called the Black Rose because it is also a high-end. It's also kind of a medium to high-end brothel.
Okay.
Run by a madam named Rose.
All right.
So the actual motif is art of scantily clad young people.
Okay. And Folk, what is your connection with the Black Rose?
My connection with the Black Rose. I think that Folk has sometimes been hired by the proprietor when like some outside group has tried to take advantage of this business.
So you've offered a different kind of protection.
Yes.
Okay. And Ogstreth, what is the thing that you dislike most about this tavern / gathering place of men and women of the night?
It's too loud. It's too boisterous. You can't hold a proper conversation with anyone and really get to the bottom of any deep thoughts.
Yeah. Very loud, very unconducive to that. You get the furthest you can to the quietest end of it, but people are still laughing and singing and drinking. Caden, what is the foodstuff specialty here?
Man, I think there's a flaming cheese cheese dish
Oh, yeah.
that they make a big production of bringing it out.
Big chunks of flaming cheese, a little bit of alcohol flavorings on there that's brought out. And so that's, imagine we got the little bit of the that burnt cheese smell wafting in the air with the five of you gathered together to talk about next steps, sharing information and figuring out where you want to go to. You now have some truth about Teldi, but you still have this red-headed Pengallan, which is out there murdering people. So we are 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, plus some weird vinegar.
Yeah, it was like a barrel of pickling sauce. Weird. Was
the vinegar actually there, or just the smell of it?
Oh, just the smell, but it was like somebody had dumped a small keg. I mean, it was pretty redolent.
And an unusual smell to the vinegar.
Yeah. As I said, more like sort of factory, I don't know what I imagine a factory smell of vinegar is. I've never worked at pickling works. Don't think so.
Oh, I know some people who've worked at pickling works.
Yeah, did it smell like that?
Well, did you bring anything with the smell on it, Red?
Yeah, actually, here. I'll toss you a bit of cloth that I mopped up some of the body fluids with. These are mostly Zara's, but it does smell of the vinegar.
Mm-hmm. He takes an appreciative sniff. He says, "Let me get a second opinion." Disappears for a moment and
wait. Before you go, little footpad, please.
No, I guess I say, "Hey, Caden," I grab you by the belt as you are exiting, and I say, "Give me my purse back."
I
Come on.
How do you always know?
I've been stolen from by the best.
Ogstruff never notices when I take his purse.
Never notice what now?
What?
No, someone else is going to have to cover this. I've misplaced my purse again.
I just need a minute or two. I can be back in a jiff.
If you're going to go grab a narrative, and I drop the coded book down on the table too, you might need somebody who can actually, decipher this.
Oh, a book, huh? Bronwyn flicks through the book as if she could read.
Well, let me start here with Caden. We kind of got a couple of different things that are happening here. Let me slow down. Caden, let's start with you. You want to take this cloth and see what you can find with it?
But I mean, I am okay with this being just a off-screen thing, basically, where it's like Caden pops out of the institution here for a moment and returns with some returns implausibly quickly with more information because he's just tapped into his weird little network.
So let's look at this mechanically. Mechanically, I think you've got two choices for your spend to get the info. I would say that either this is ally commoners, that's an easy one, or it's ridiculous luck.
Do like ridiculous luck. I also have scurrilous rumors.
Scurrilous rumors. Well, let's see. Bribery, gossip, whispered secrets. We could do that as a stretch. Yeah. Which one do you want to spend from?
Let's spend on scurrilous rumors here. I'm up for things to get scurrilous.
Okay. So there is a little montage of you talking to some people, chatting with people, and kind of passing around, eventually realizing that some of what the cloth has been given to you is gore, but some of it has the vinegar scent.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll come to somebody and they take a sniff of it, and then they stop and they take another sniff, and he goes, Muranos. Oh, the best pickles in Eversink. Delicious. Just exquisite. A fine herbal pepper mixture in there, and a certain kind of like delicious mustard seed mixed. It's a recipe that is spectacular. Just unbelievable. I asked them if they could do sauerkraut as well, but they won't even touch sauerkraut. They're all about the pickles. Best pickles in Eversink.
I knew I could rely on your nose, Solon.
Yes. And hands it back to you. There's another smelt here too. Is that dried blood?
Yeah, but don't worry about that one.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So we'll assume we can kind of let that short-handed Caden can return.
I mean, we cut to Caden, back at the table. He like puts them in the rag and then puts out a glass jar full of pickles that has the name of the place on it, right?
Yeah, beautiful Murano's pickles.
He's eating one.
Yeah,
as he explains.
Hey, these are good.
Delicious, tasty, crisp.
Like it was great with the
yeah
flaming cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same vinegar, huh?
Yeah, Oxford is not eating. You know what the Bengalin uses the vinegar for, right?
Didn't use this vinegar, says Bronwyn, pointing to the jar.
It's possible.
This is clearly used for cucumbers.
Pushes the
but anyway,
bottle to the middle of the table.
It doesn't matter. We found another place to go. We found a place to maybe go looking for this thing. If it's picking, it needs to. The thing's as big as you say, and it certainly must have been in order to strangle Zara. Then it's gonna need to have a barrel or two of pickling juice, right? So maybe it's hiding out at the factory, or maybe it's somebody who works there.
Stands to reason.
You said they can look just like people when they're not out.
Yes, they can reinsert themselves into a body. Quite a clever trick.
Yeah, and
have to be their original body.
I think usually that would be the way it works. Bronwyn, this one looks a little bit like you, at least if we trust the description.
You don't need to keep bringing that up, Falk.
Bronwyn says, "Well, it's not me. I mean, I don't think it's me. I don't think I'd be investigating myself offhand."
And
Stranger things have happened in Eversink.
I guess so. But if it is me, then you guys are screwed. So let's assume it's not me. You'll just all be found strangled in your sleep, and and
Lowell and Brandon set that up ahead of time.
Orsino, you were going to say?
I think we would have noticed if her head had, come off of her body and started floating around strangling people. It's kind of a giveaway.
And the book that you found, Orsino, do we have any leads on decoding that?
Well, that depends. Rose. I yell for the madam of the house.
Okay. She will come over. Master Orsino. I'm counting the days.
Yes, so am I. I can't wait until I'm cloistered away.
Yes, I do hope you'll settle your tab before then.
Oh, yes, of course I will. No problem. Garibaldi always pays his debts. But do tell me, is Olaf the Scrivener around? Basically, I'm going to be spending my point of felonious intent to to get a contact, which is Olaf, and he writes letters and stuff like that. He might be able to get us through the code of the book.
And she'll say, yes, hold on, I'll send Olaf over. And sends over this incredibly rail thin guy who is wrapped in swaddles of cloth to keep himself warm. And I think that, Oxford, what is the thing that tells you that this guy got the bad end of some corruption at some point?
Oh, goodness. I think it's clear that the cloth, it's meant to look formless, but it's like he's not skinny all the way through. There's some like protrusions or something, and it's supposed to look like it's just draped over them, and you won't notice them, but it doesn't lay quite right. Left side of his midsection sticking out.
Yeah, like when he sits down, there's a sound like wood being bent. And he sits and he's like, Master Orsino, it has been a while. Where is your lady friend?
Never mind her. I have many lady friends.
But I meant that's neither here nor there then.
Yes. And I was wondering if you could make heads or tails of this chicken scratch, and casually toss up the book.
Yes. Yes, this is a code. It's not a very good code. It's a ledger book. Looks like I'm guessing these are businesses that are being charged.
It's a protection racket.
That checks out. Yes. Standard. Looks like more activity, new places over the last couple of months.
Any names there?
There's no names, everything. I mean, I could probably work out a few of the businesses here. Looks like a new bar. Looks like a what is it? What is it? The barrels. Is that a barreler? Is that an what do you call those?
Cooper.
A Cooper. Yes, there's a Cooper. There's a pickler. There's looks like a baker.
A Cooper, a pickler, and a baker. I think
I heard a nursery rhyme that started that way once.
Yes.
If you'd like, it would take me a few days, but I could transcribe this into plain speak for you for a price.
How about I pay for your night here at Rose's?
That's not really necessary these days, but perhaps you'd cover me the credit on that. I could use an alternate way. Does it seem like a fair thing?
Sure. Yeah. Add it to my tab, I guess. I'll pay that next week.
But I'll have a talk with Rose. May I have the book then?
Sure.
Okay. It was nice not being introduced to any of all of you. Goodbye.
Olaf, good chap.
Yeah.
Just ignore the thing from the middle.
Oh, there's one more thing I found.
Oh, what?
I don't know if this is important, but this was in the pocket of that guy that you were interrogating earlier, and I put out the thing I pickpocketed, which I'm sure Lowell described in some way, but I'm forgetting what its deal was.
So I think you'll set this on the table, and the sort of waxed paper will come open, and you will see that there is a vial with a wax stopper on it, and inside is a viscous fluid that has the consistency of blood and has a red tint to it, but it is a darker blood. You know how blood dries dark? It looks like dried blood, but it's still liquid. Ogstreth.
I was just about to ask. With Leechcraft? Tell me anything about that?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll have you make a spend on it.
Alrighty.
This is, how do I put this? Very nasty, very potent, corrupted blood from a monster, from a beast of some power. It's a dangerous magical component, or a dangerous boost for those who drink blood.
Would a Pangolin be interested in such a thing, or
No, this
Yeah.
isn't. They don't drink blood. They
yeah,
eat sin and wickedness.
it's a very slimming diet.
Yes.
So sorry, go ahead.
So this is something else. Like maybe that guy was supposed to deliver it, or is it, or something?
I will give a little bit of a summary of what it is and mention how dangerous it is. And good job, Caden, for getting this into my hands so I can make sure no one else ends up with it, and just kind of slide it into my ropes before anyone says anything else.
Sounds like the watch captain was involved with some nasty business. I mean, it's one thing, taking money for petty crimes, one thing. Everyone does that.
Folk, what's your reaction to that line?
Well, they do. I mean, on the watch.
Well, I guess Bronwyn, I guess maybe the people of the watch that but
You can hardly blame them. I mean, what does a watchman get paid these days? I mean, it's a different thing if you're a sergeant, I guess. But nasty alchemical poisons and monster blood and things like that, kind of a different matter. Don't like that.
Well, there are no good deeds in Eversink. I think they might be all in on it.
There's only one way to tell.
Well, so who's off? Who's to the pickle factory? Those are good pickles. I could stand for some more.
I'll go pickle words.
It's gonna turn out to be like cannibal pickles or something.
They're cucumbers.
Caden takes another big chop of a pickle.
Okay, they're only cannibal, I guess, if you're a cucumber. Is that even a thing?
Let's hope that remains the way.
Are there cannibal cucumbers?
That's a great band name.
Cannibal cucumber.
No,
so we don't.
Lowell, before we break up the meeting,
Yeah.
In that room, were any of the bottles of poison intact?
Yeah, you found a couple of bottles of poisons that were definitely.
I think Folk definitely would have taken those as well.
Sure.
He would set those relabeled bottles on the table and says, well, I am curious about where this poison came from. So my understanding of this unfortunate soul's operation is that he was not the manufacturer. He was a kind of middleman of sorts.
Clearly, the Thieves Guild had set him up. They supplied him with product. He did the alchemical work on it to prepare it and put it into these bottles so that the Thieves Guild could resell it.
Yeah. Bottling that stuff's probably pretty delicate, to not get poisoned yourself.
And what is it labeled as? I mean, is it mislabeled?
Oh, no, it is properly labeled.
It is properly labeled.
Yes.
So it was more that he was bottling it rather than changing it from, being labeled arsenic to sulfuric acid or something.
Correct.
Okay.
Though it did seem like I would say, and I think I indicated this last time, that clearly some of the things that he got had been smuggled in with other labels.
Okay, that's what he was doing. So
Yeah.
it was labeled absolutely harmless liquid, and then he was changing it to the correct label.
Yes.
So he was doing a public service, really.
Yeah.
Because,
Right.
If it had kept that inaccurate label, someone could have drunk it unawares. But by putting correct labels on it,
he was a
protected
hero.
Yes. Little arcane Mr. Yuck symbols. Okay.
We need to avenge him. So we know we've got the pickle factory. We don't know if that's the same pickler from the book, though. Is that the case?
But just play at the odds.
Yeah, it's about to say. It's
I
like,
bet it is.
How many?
How many
picklers can be
let's see.
Up in this
Pangolin,
plot.
Dipped in pickle juice, came and strangled someone who was extorting a pickle factory. The smart money's on the same pickle factory.
The Cooper and the Baker were also in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all of our leads right now. Those three.
So you have Teldy, you have the Thieves Guild, you have looking at more what this blood is about, but that where that goes is unclear. And you have the Pickle House. HAUS, of course. That seems right, Oxtrath.
Okay. We know we have 2 for pickles. Red and Caden when I hit pickle word. Seems like we probably shouldn't split into 3. That seems really dumb. But 2 might be. Don't smile anymore.
Sorry, I was very excited there for a moment.
5 leads, 5 characters. Let's go. I don't know. What do you think? Like the pickle definitely seems like there's 2 fingers pointing at that.
Well, if we run into the pangolin, we'll wish we had more than 2 people.
Yeah. I don't know. What do we think?
But hopefully we're not sinful enough to attract this attention just yet.
You could catch it unaware too, taking up pickle bath.
Well, shall we kind of do this scene and put everybody on place at the pickle place, and then we can figure out where we go from there?
Yeah, because I kind of want Ugstret there, because if we do encounter somebody suspicious, I'm not sure how I'd tell if they weren't like a regular person. But
I mean, if you could tell, you might really be able to tell.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
you do get a sense of monstrous people after a while, when you've been fighting them as long as I have, but I wouldn't depend on it.
Let's all go Pickley.
So let's take our second break. Let's take 5. We'll come back and we will hard cut to Morano's Pickles.
Sounds
excellent.
Good.
So later in the day, we're getting sort of that evening twilight kind of time, and we see the group on the docks, and across the way we can see Morano's Pickles. It's a fairly big place. There's definitely spots for boats to come up and drop off materials, and then to also pick up pickles. You can see that there's a warehouse. There's a kind of set of kitchens for the preparations of the brines, the cooking of that. There's the pickling storehouse. The largest sort of manufacturing building with the offices and the kitchens is a couple stories tall. Looks like there might be offices up top. There's a stall out front that sells pickles, but a lot of this is selling to restaurants or merchants or things like that. It's a place that does have a fence around it, and you're guessing that once evening comes, they probably have some guards patrolling the grounds, kind of thing. So what do you want to do? How do you want to approach this? Folk, let me start with you. Like, what's your theory here?
I think Folk would and this is we're approaching in the daytime, so that
We're
they're
getting
open
on
for business.
evening. Probably in the next couple of hours, there'll be, workers will be finishing up for the day and heading home.
Yeah, I think Folk would want to, if they're still open, would want to make some inquiries, and ask. I think two things he's wanting to ask about: if they've seen a woman, a kind of customer with long red hair who has turned up.
So let me ask you this. So it seems to me like the sound I'm hearing is that you're going to go up to the front, try and get somebody to talk to, that kind of thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Somebody going with you, and then we'll kind of figure out where the other division of labor is.
Is there anyone who's doing well on sway?
Me.
Yeah, I got some sway.
So maybe we want to send another sway person with Folk if necessary to grease the wheels.
Yeah, because Folk had some sway, but all of his sway is spent at this point.
So let me tell you guys, you have from the last scene, you have 18 refresh tokens. Now that's for the group total for the moment, and I am going to insert a column to the left of the first column, and I'm going to merge some cells, and I am going to put a big number in that there. So get that to 36 point.
So yeah, I had a question about that. Can we use those like during the adventure and just pull from it when we need it, and so we can just leave it as a pool, and then whoever needs it,
100%.
Okay, right, cool.
So
that seems like the thing to do.
Yeah, keep our options open.
if we were at a table, there would be a big bowl of tokens, and you would take them as you needed to refresh your things. The only things this can't refresh are health and morale. It's for other general abilities.
Yeah, and on health, is this the next day?
Oh no, we're still that same day.
Still the same day. Because I could probably use some health.
I can bind your wounds.
Yeah, that would probably be helpful.
So how many points do you want to spend, Ogstreth? Every point that you spend will heal folk 2 points.
How beat up are you?
I'm 5 points down.
All right, then I'll spend 2 and get you to 1 point down.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll go with Ogstreth. You guys can be sneaky.
So Folk, so Folk and Bronwyn are heading up to the front to kind of talk. While they're doing that, Orsino, Caden, Ogstreth, what do you want to do?
What it seems like Red was suggesting we should be sneaky.
I think we need to sneak into this place, right? Like wherever there'd be the most, big barrels of pickling liquid. That seems like the place to investigate.
So the warehouse or the actual pickling process place? I don't know what that's called.
Well, you're looking for pickling barrels that have been kind of set aside or open when they shouldn't be, or something, right? Because normally they'd be using them all and shipping them out. So yeah. Somebody's clearly got their own private stash.
Yeah.
So
you need a barrel big enough to stick your innards in, so it couldn't be too full of pickles or too small.
You know what? I think we should just head into wherever wherever we might find something, and I have a feeling we might catch a lucky break. Just stumble across what we most need to find here.
So one of the nice things is we'll do the roll here in a second. We'll talk to Folk and Bronwyn, and then we'll come back to you three. Is that you can piggyback on one another's rolls there with stealth. It's a little bit harder for Oxtreth since Oxtreth doesn't have any stealth. But hopefully Caden's natural gift and skill can make up for that.
Always covering for the perspicacious one here.
Oxtreth, how do you feel about sneaking around?
Oh, it sounds like great fun.
Oh, great fun. Just not good at it, but great fun.
Oh, I'm sure I'll learn.
Okay.
Caden's natural gifts will transfer to me. Plus illusions.
Okay. Fair enough.
Caden, you can two-finger whistle, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your signal for come running.
So Folk, Bronwyn, you'll go up. There's the stall out front that sells pickles, and then there's essentially there's a gate there with a person who watches for deliveries and things like that, and will look up as the two of you approach. You don't look like your usual pickle dealers. So this person sitting on a stool will say, "Can I help you?"
Well, sure, friend. Besides a jar of pickles to munch on, I'd appreciate some information. I heard from a ship captain that I might have kin that work down here in the factory. As you can see, I'm from the Northern Isles, and they said there was somebody that kind of resembled me, and I'm been scouring the town looking for my friend, and figured might as well track this one down too and see if that was true. A cousin of mine might have come off the boat sometime back, although I can't be sure about that.
We'll say, well, pickles for stated purchase are over there at the stall, but do you want to make a charm spend?
Sure.
Okay. He'll say, well, certainly your hair looks like Celia's, but her you don't bear resemblance in appearance or skin tone.
Huh. Well, can you introduce me? I mean, I'd know. We got a few members of our family who've got a little bit of mixed blood. But I'd know if you're cousins or not. It'd be great solace to find some kin. I tell you, I get lonely for home.
He says that's the boss. Hold on. It kind of looks like at you folk like, okay, what's your story?
Well, I'm just coming with my friend. She was a little shy about coming down, and I said, I'd come with her.
Arches his brow when you say shy, but he will whistle for one of the people at the stall a younger person comes running over, and he will say to tell Lara and Celia that might be somebody out here who thinks they might be Celia's kin. If they have time, and this kid will nod and will run on into the big house. So while that's going on, Caden, what is your grand plan for sneaking your trio in?
There's always a side door. Someone's always left it unlocked, for a smoke break or a chance to stretch their legs. And you just need to be thorough and subtle and find the weak point.
Okay. Let's have you make that stealth roll.
You got it. I have a bunch of points in stealth.
Yes, you do.
Do I know the difficulty of this ahead of time?
So right now, the difficulty is 4, 5, 6. It's an additional one because Ostroth isn't giving you any, so that's actually 7. But Orsino can spend a point to piggyback, and could potentially spend more points to assist you after that first point.
Okay. Well, we've got a pool of refresh we can spend, so maybe I'll just pour a bunch of my stealth into this, right?
Absolutely. That sounds like the best plan ever.
That enthusiastic agreement from the GM is
no. I mean, what are the odds that something terrible is going to happen here?
Why don't I put, maybe I'll put 4 stealth towards this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orsino, do you want to spend?
Yeah, I'm going to spend 1 to piggyback, then spend 1 more stealth to add to that 4.
Okay. So, Caden, that's 5 points.
All right.
Difficulty 7. So just don't roll a 1.
Just don't roll a 1. I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5. So I think there's the finding your way along. Some of these boats kind of slide up, kind of hop up. It's getting dusk, so the light is kind of failing. Yeah. And I imagine that the 3 of you have to clamber up and into this pickle warehouse. The smell here, it is vinegar 24/7, all the vinegar all the time. It has a fragrant bouquet to it. You can smell the additional 11 herbs and spices that are used to flavor the pickles, and there are large barrels, and there are various vats that are around holding the pickling liquids. They clearly brew the pickling liquid, the vinegar up, heat it up before they put the pickles in. And of course, then there's, big boxes, baskets, bushels of cucumbers around here. There looks like they do a sideline in other pickling as well. So, you're seeing red peppers and carrots and onions and things as well. What are the 3 of you looking for?
Pangolin.
Okay, fair enough. I think you'll kind of go through and this is the storage warehouse. And I think over the course of the next 15, 20 minutes, you'll make your way around. And while there are some big open vats that are kind of used for general processing, you won't see any barrels that are clearly and unusually left open or, off to the side, hidden, reserved for something like that here in the warehouse.
Can I spend a point of ridiculous luck to stumble over a crucial lead here?
Sure.
I do that.
Okay. I think there is a bit when you kind of go up onto the second floor of the warehouse to see where they've got some of the older pickle storage for longer pickling processes and things like that. Maybe even there's some place where they're playing with some of the solutions to do their own vinegar in smaller batches and things. And Orsino, Oxcott probably also looking around here. And you'll look out from this warehouse upper window and you can see across the way into the main house with the kitchens below and the offices up above. And you'll see there's a big bedroom windows, like you can see inside. There's the curtains and you can see a bed in there. And then you'll see next to that is a pair of double windows that are open. And you'll see that you can just make out that there's a chair kind of off to the one side of the window, and then you can see the top of a barrel, like one of these pickling barrels, that's there with an open lid.
That is mighty suspicious.
Doesn't look like you should have a big pickling barrel up in a living space.
Yeah, I'll try to signal to my allies to join me at this vantage point.
You must really like pickles.
Orsino, Alcatraz, anything from you before I cut back to the others?
No, I think the ridiculous luck works very well.
Yeah, I don't know that's anything else we'd be looking for. Like that's a flashing red light.
Yeah. Folk, Bronwyn, after about 10-15 minutes, you will see a pair of women. They've got working overalls and aprons, stained with vinegar and cucumber juice and all of that. They look like they're in their 40s or 50s. One of them is blonde streaked with gray, and the other woman is darker skin, definitely swarthier, red hair, and the two of them walk out to kind of end of the day kind of wiping their hands down, and the blonde woman will say, I'm Lara Morano, and this is my wife, Celia. And she kind of looks at you, and she goes, no, I can see with the hair why you might think we'd be related, but I don't think so.
No, my grandfather was said to have had a few on the wrong side of the sheets, if you know what I mean. But I don't think he got as far as the Southern Isles in his lifetime. But it was worth checking out.
Yeah, no, understandable.
Yeah, I'm Bronwyn, and this is my friend Folk. Thanks for your trouble, and I have to say, your pickles are something else.
Oh, good. Glad that you enjoy them.
Made some chit chat for a while, but that's probably
okay.
I'm not gonna
kind of hold them in place with the chit chat. Folk, are you doing anything I should know about?
I think Folk is trying to kind of while Bronwyn is the main focus of this conversation. I think Folk is kind of edging around, and it's Celia who has the red hair.
Yeah,
and I think Folk is just taking a very careful assessment of Celia from multiple angles.
Do you want to make a vigilance spend?
Might this be a spirit sight thing?
I think vigilance is more appropriate.
I think you'd be more thinking about kind of trying to notice.
Yeah, I'm asking her, where she thinks the red hair in her family comes from, etc. And then let Folk do his thing.
Yeah. So I think Folk will spend a couple points for this.
Just 1 point is enough.
1 point?
Yeah, 1 point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is not a roll. This is just
this is just a vigilance spend.
Okay.
I mean, she's definitely wearing essentially the equivalent of a little bit higher collar to conceal that. There is the thing that her eyes do track you more. You've been around people who can see other things. I mean, your father did. You can. you know what it's like when somebody's kind of tracking things slightly differently, like they're seeing in a space beyond. And you can definitely get the feeling like she is reading you two to see, if you are evil. And she nods at the end of this. Clearly you don't show up on her dinner vision. But she will eventually say, well, this has been delightful, but my wife and I have to get back to close up shop. It was good meeting you, Bronwyn and Folk, was it?
Yes, Folk. Thank you for at least coming out to see if my good friend Bronwyn, she's kind of she was very, very, very expectant and happy when she heard news of somebody who might be her kin here.
And there'll be a moment when we're about to go, and Silea will turn to go, are you an inquisitor? It's your armor.
She's got sharp eyes. He's going to be.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
Yeah.
Not yet. It runs in his family though. Nice spot.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful to be able to perhaps join the Inquisitors one day.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's good enough to be an Inquisitor myself. But don't tell him that.
See her stop. She looks at you, and then you see her eyes go down to the side, to the pouch. And you see her kind of stare at that for a moment, and you can almost feel your father's desiccated hand twitch a little. And she goes, well, all right then, it's been good meeting you. We have to shut up the gates now. And they'll step back, and one of the servants will come, and we'll pull the gates shut. Let's cut back to Orsino, Caden, and Oxtreth. It's getting on dusk. I think from your vantage point, you can see that Bronwyn and Folk are kind of wrapping up their conversation. What do you want to do?
So we can see into another building.
Yeah, and like if you kind of lean and look past, you can see the front gate where Folk and Bronwyn are kind of holding the attention of these two women.
What's the distance between the building we're in and the place where we're seeing the suspicious barrel?
Well, that's two buildings apart. I mean, you could take a running leap from the roof and jump across and maybe make it.
Not with these knees.
Can't you just fly or something? Perspicacious one? Don't have a sorcery for that?
Oh, I can do many things, my child.
So that's not what. No, it's not what. Okay. Okay. Can you clamber across a rope?
I don't think that clamber is a verb I still have in my vocabulary.
Making this tricky.
See, elderly.
Garibaldi.
Well, yes, I can clamber quite well.
Can you clamber while carrying
He looks Ogstreth up and down. Let me check my pool. Let's see here. I might be able to. It'll probably require a pool expenditure.
All right, good enough for me. So Caden, I have something for prepare. I've got a preparedness thing. Do I need to roll it to have rope, or can I just say I've got some rope?
Spend a point of preparedness. Rope is a super easy one, so just spend a point of that.
All right. And then I guess I'm gonna go up on the roof of this building and then try to run across to the other with a rope trailing after me that I'll then like secure so others can follow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is a little tricky,
Sure.
the rope. So I'm gonna say 5.
Okay. For a
Athletics
thing. Yeah. Okay. 5, you say. All right, I'll spend my remaining athletics on this.
You still got pool.
Yes, we've got that pool of refresh just in case.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so that's 3. I've spent 3 and I'm rolling a d6. And Caden's like, piece of cake. Takes a running jump. I rolled a 5.
Down to 5. And you do that thing where when you hit, you roll to quiet this.
Nice.
And then get that tied up.
King of Thieves, baby. King of Thieves.
Yeah, you got that set. Orsino, you're gonna scramble across with Ogstreth.
Yep. He kneels down a little bit and kind of shoulders Ogstreth up into almost kind of like a fireman carry. Yes, I don't know. Or just here. Get
That's all right.
on my back and just hold tight.
Okay. All
right.
That's not too much?
No. Jeez. Yeah, you might need to eat some more.
Well, I didn't want to have the pickles. Who knows what's in the brine?
Okay, then I'll try to. I guess what am I doing? I'm going like this across
hand over
on a
hand.
rope.
Yeah. Let's
carrying
have you
the
roll.
old man. Okay.
You're supposed to be clambering. That's my understanding.
So
Difficulty 5.
Difficulty 5. So I've got 2, and I'll spend those 2. And does anybody mind if I take 2 points from the pool?
16 left.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that gives me a 4. Which do you have to roll if it's
No, you don't have to roll. You will clamber across. Now, you have the choice. Are you like roping up to this roof where Caden has secured this, or are you trying to like throw yourself in through this window?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, now I think that
we didn't discuss this ahead of time. We're seeing.
Let's just have you roll with the athletics. I think this makes it just a little bit tricky. So you're going to make it, but I think you don't want to roll a 1 on this.
Okay, so
good luck.
And what do I roll? Oops.
Never tell me the odds.
Well, that was predictable.
Yeah.
I think that, Orsino, you will fling yourself in, and I think that you catch on the ledge, and the 2 of you go into this vat full of vinegar.
Oh.
It immediately Archimedes pours out, and then the vat goes over.
Uh-oh. My friends are in a bit of a pickle.
Oh. And that's what we're stopping for
we have
tonight.
we have them over a barrel.
That's what we're going to stop for tonight. We will take up next time.
Oh, I thought you were just mad about the pun. We really are.
No. We are going to stop here. I think this is a good a high point for us to pick up from next time. If that's cool with everybody.
That works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good puns though. I do appreciate that. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes if folks are okay with that. Just to kind of check through. Brandon, let me start with you.
Sure. That was a lot to like here. I enjoyed both of the fights, the werewolf and the rocks being thrown and everything like that. And the discovery of the serendipitous the discovery of somebody who knew the pickle the pickle vendor, and saved us a lot of trouble. And then all the dealings pickle factory. I liked everything. It was fun. It was also fun seeing the characters coming into their own too, which really they had dumps for, and even some banter, which I think is an important part of the genre. And thank you for indulging.
Any wishes?
Yes, I wish for some nice ambiguity in the confrontation coming up, because on the one hand, this is a monster. On the other hand, this is a monster that goes after terrible people, and I think it would be interesting if that was a hard choice.
Excellent. Keith Ogstreth.
I echo a lot of what Brandon said as far as all those positives. And I really did enjoy getting to see the characters interact, and Caden dropped right into that with no problem and became part of the group. So that was really fun. And a special star to you, Lowell, because I feel like this is the kind of game I could not run, and you are just rolling it out like at the perfect pacing. And as a player, it's really enjoyable to get those bits of information stuff and be able to feel like, oh, I'm a clever problem solver, but like not having to actually deal with all the background stuff.
I think that's absolutely fair. Any wishes?
We got to see a little bit of the city with like Caden's contacts. If we can see more of that, more of the factions and stuff, that would be great. I know it doesn't necessarily tie into what's going on, but maybe some echoes.
I think that's smart, and we certainly you've poked a few bears, so we can see some of that.
If only it was just bears.
Yeah. Orsino.
Oh yeah, stars all around. I think everybody did really good role playing. We're starting to get some of the banter going, like Brandon said. Alexei, the announcing your reign as the king to the thief was awesome. And Brandon with Bronwyn, the very start of the game or whatever, showing that you wanted to talk instead of fight right away shows really the age of the character and is playing into her themes really well. Ogstreth is just laugh. It's funny. It doesn't seem very thiefy, and notice what. Ogstreth is always great for some comedic relief there. Folk, the fact that you worked a muscle for a brothel, and the fact that you delivered that shy line right after
with a straight face.
Straight face. That was awesome. And well, you run a great game, and really good NPCs like Olaf, but my favorite was the smell guy that you gave to Alexei. But that was really awesome. For wishes, I would say I'm very interested in seeing where that super magical blood potion is what it's gonna bring into the mix.
All right, make a note of that. Magic blood. Okay, Folk.
Another really nice session. I really I'm enjoying the kind of splitting up, coming back together, kind of thing that's going on here. Not splitting up into 5 groups, but the 2 different groups and the kind of cross-cutting between them, I think is really quite fun, and is handled very, very well, and I'm enjoying that aspect of it. I really enjoyed the opening fight scenes and the way that those kind of played out, and kind of getting to see the characters kind of springing into action in that way, as well as the kind of dialogue that's taking off. In terms of wishes, I have been a little curious about the drives, and maybe trying to get that into play. I've been kind of looking at mine and wondering about kind of situations where my understanding is like you can invoke a drive to get a +1.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me make a note of that, and I'll kind of make sure that I remind us about drives at the start of next session. I'll look that up in the mechanics, and we'll make sure we got that on the table.
The pop-up thing says once per scene, each can adjust the difficulty by -1. So I mean, sort of the same thing, but it's lowering the difficulty apparently.
That is nice.
Yeah, and I guess another thing is that I'm with being able to spend the points, we really can get a lot of situations that are a lot of successes going. I feel like it's going to be building up to a point where those points are going to have been spent, and it'll be like more difficult. So
yeah, I will say this is one of the things that is interesting about GUMSHOE, is that it has an economy with those points, and I think one of the big challenges for a GM is figuring out how to make that economy tight, how to make it hum without it feeling restrictive. And I think that takes a lot of sessions with each particular game. Like Trail of Cthulhu has a very different tightness than Night's Black Agents than this. I'm still figuring out how tight does this need to be, how many rolls, what the difficulty is. So yeah, I think you're pointing at something that's really, really interesting with the game. And Alexi.
Stars to everyone for welcoming me in. I really enjoyed getting to jump into the thick of things. Lowell, big star for bringing the Thieves Guild in. I'm excited about them being involved in any way here, especially because I got to announce my intended ascendancy. And I think the wish is for some social situations for Caden to deal with. I realized I ended up kind of myself playing more towards sneaking around and doing burglary, but I actually have a bunch of things that are socially based on my character sheet. So a wish for me and for you to find ways to see that aspect of the character as well.
Awesome. Put a big circle around that. Thank you all very much. And I will see everybody next week. I'm going to stop the recording.